ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL,
Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Challenger League. We're in Cup 3 right now and we're continuing the journey of some of these teams in the lower bracket as we move along into round 3 down below.
Indeed, it's good to be here, ready for more action in the EU Cups. I've been frequenting the South American Cups more often recently, but some schedule changes means that I can pop over here and spend some nice time in EU with you, Lucy. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I think there's some players here that we've covered a lot in EU CS and EU Tier 3, Tier 2 CS over the last couple of years. And in general, surprised that some of them are still around and still playing their trade for the love of the game. And we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, it should be kind of a fun game because of the unknowns of it.
Yeah, let's take a look at what it's all being played for. It's the prize pool as we get deeper along. A lot of money on the line, and of course, winning out the entire event gets you that spot at the regional finals. So there's already a couple of teams waiting from the Cup 1 and 2. So that's what this is mainly about, I would say. Obviously, prize pool with VRS means a lot, but I think that regional final will have a bit more juice behind it. Let's take a look at the bracket and the story so far, how we got here for these two teams. Here's the upper bracket. I think Johnny Speed's probably the favourite when it comes to this entire bracket, although Mana, Brandon was hyping them up yesterday. I think they're definitely an interesting team. So to me, it's the winner of that quarterfinal that probably makes it all the way through the top side.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the way we're looking at it too. I think Johnny Speeds, for me, are one of the teams that I've seen at this level right now that have a really good baseline. I had an opportunity to interview, Freiburg in another tournament the other day when they just won their game, and he was talking about just, trying to add a layer of calm to the team when the comms are a little bit crazy. And I feel like he's really helping them with that at the moment, and they got like a pretty decent level at it stands for them. But yeah, that's not who we're focusing on today. We're focusing on X0 Tenacity and RUSTEC, and we can see where they will now frequent in this lower bracket. Kind of a weird situation for a lot of these teams, obviously, in the Challenger League Cups, because there were a lot of forfeits, there were a lot of schedule clashes. It's a big-ass bracket. And yeah, we'll have to see how RUSTEC and Zero Tenacity will do here, because we have a lot of information, of course, about the XZ10 players, from history playing on their original organisation, but yeah, with the stand-ins they're supposedly playing with right now, it feels a little bit confusing for them at the moment.
Yeah, at least they're like stand-ins that they're very, comfortable and familiar playing with, right? Like, it's not like you're currently, you've got some randos in the squad. It's almost like the BetBoom team situation where their stand-ins are familiar entities. It kind of helps you out a little bit on that front. RUSTEC, I think they're a really interesting team for me. I've not actually seen a great deal of them, but they've got a very familiar face behind them these days. Sanji, just last month, taking on the coaching role on this team, which I think is very fun to have him slotting into that with them, and I'm excited to see what he can do with the squad.
Yeah, it is pretty cool because, it's one of those names that you kind of think of and think, oh, wow, yeah, he still exists. Where did he go? It's the Ian Wright meme of, like, I thought you was dead. Where did you come from? But yeah, he's back and coaching, and yeah, I think that's great for the team because there's a lot of experience there. Sure, he's not on the server to be able to drop an AWP to their AWPer Yuka. Old reference there. But yeah, unfortunately for their team, they're still like very, very early on in their progression. It's going to be a great boon for them to have Sanji behind them. They have some experience on the server as well when it comes to Supra. It's a player, of course, that we know for a very, very long time. He burst on the scene with Gambit Youngsters way back in the beginning of the online era. Did incredible work with that team, of course, but then when that Gambit team went from Gambit Youngsters to Gambit, that obviously when they moved on to Hobbit joining the team, that's when they really went from strength to strength with Axile and Shiro and in Inters and all those guys. So yeah, unfortunately he was the one that was left out, but he's still playing his trade, as you can see here, and with a couple of really talented players from early Hotu rosters, especially Yuka, their AWPer. They do have some talent about them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what they show up. It's interesting you mentioned Super as that experience, because yeah, like every time I say shit with him, it's with that Gambit Youngsters roster. So it's funny to really think of it like that. We can see RUSTEC's recent results. A bunch of those here. Meeting out Nigel Mirage. Brandon's a big fan of that team name. I don't know if I'm so sold, but it's a good play on words. Runeators also. The loss to Mana, I think that's relatively expected. And I feel like when you look through a lot of their results, I think they're winning games that you probably expect, but there's a few that they've kind of upset in, especially over in CCT. They had a win over Metasport. I think that one's quite a statement. Yep. That was only at the start of this week. And they did beat out Mana in CCT as well. So they've had a few interesting wins along the way, even if they have, a slew of losses kind of ahead of that.
Indeed, yeah, I think they're doing okay, considering the progression or the time they have been playing as a 5, I think. And with XZ10, talking about time playing as a 5, I mean, it's only a 3 anymore from that Zero Tenacity roster days. Of course, no Nemanja anymore. He was the lifeblood, the brains behind the operation for, what was it, over 3 years on that team. They had very, very long-term contracts and stayed with that organisation for a very long time overall. And had some decent success with them, of course, in the online circuits. But now that Nemanja's moved on to a couple of other projects, now playing with Wildcard, would you believe? A random move, it felt like. But he gets the chance to play a couple of big tournaments now. So they decided to play, well, they can, kind of for the love of the game, like I said earlier, with the core of Chofo, Brute Monster on the AWP and ABN, with Kindo as well, who is a player from Partizan and knows them very well. And same can be said of Emmy. Emmy's been everywhere over the course of his career. He's been coaching, he's been playing. Fair to say that I think at this point of his career, I didn't think he would have thought he'd still be playing. He's tried to retire multiple times, but just can't keep himself off the server, seemingly.
Yeah, somehow they just keep bringing him back into it, just when he thought they were out. Had that sort of coaching role for a bit, didn't he, with BC Game? And even Partizan was in and out of that. So, yeah, familiarity there with him and Kinto on that front too. So there's a lot of different combos. I actually really like kind of the way they filled out this team. It was a difficult position to find themselves in. Losing such an important player in Nemanja, but I kind of like the direction they're headed. I don't know kind of how long term it is, but if they can have some good results in tournaments like this, then maybe there is something to be said for this squad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you know, I think at this level, the main thing that will go for them is long-term synergy, maybe. So we'll have to see how it goes. Our little head-to-head there was between the two AWPers, Brute Monster and Yuka, and I think both of them are playing okay at this level. But yeah, I think there's more X factor. I've covered one Yuka game so far for RUSTEC. It was, I think, a couple of days ago. It may have been the Metasport game, actually, where they managed to beat them. That's Metasport playing with Stanislaw, obviously. That was a pretty good game from Yuka, and I think from all the years and all the amount of games I've watched of Brute Monster on Z10 and now XZ10, he's a bit more of like a stable background AWPer that doesn't really get himself into the action too madly. So I think in that head-to-head, I would probably favour Yuka a little bit. And we can see the map stats, of course, for these two teams as well. There's a couple of maps that is pretty expected for XZ10 to be very good at. Inferno is definitely one of them. Remember their ridiculous streak of maps played on Anubis back in the day. But that was with their full 5, and they definitely fell off on that map. So, I'm appreciating them staying a bit more away from it this time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting because they were such a good team on that map that they kind of decided to move away from it. I'm actually really, I guess they really did rely on Nemanja when it came to the output on that map and maybe some of the ideas that they don't want to go there. Now Emmy's kind of, I guess, influencing those decisions. So the Inferno ban actually come out from. No, that can't be right.
That should be the RUSTEC ban because they put
that's
ban
the other way around.
Inferno, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. Cool. Overpass, that's picked in by RUSTEC. So yeah, all of it's inverted. That's a really fun pick. Zero Tenacity have been struggling on it a bit. So yeah, it's a nice little punish. I'm still going to H3 anyway. It's Nuke coming in from Exterior Tenacity. That's good. This is a really fun couple of maps to get things started with those two. And that leaves our decider to be best 2 from the looks of things.
Yep, indeed. And I think I agree, totally fine. Like, if I was to pick 2 maps to watch this evening, it would be Overpass and Nuke, so there you go. We are happy in that sense. And it's just a question in this series for RUSTEC and XZ10. Is it going to be like old school synergy even with Kindo and Emmy playing? 2 players I'm sure they know very well. It's the main core that I'm really looking toward here. I thought Chofo was always a great anchor player. So if you have that base to work with Chofo playing in these difficult positions, is it the old school synergy that will come out on top here this evening, or is it going to be a bit more of the spicy firepower on RUSTEC that will come out on top? Looking at current form, looking at the fact that I feel like XZ10 right now are playing, as I said earlier, kind of just for the love of the game and playing to compete for a bit of fun. RUSTEC are on slightly better form against varying degrees of opposition. I would have to pick them, I think, in this one, which may surprise some people, but I will take RUSTEC.
I think it's just the recent streak to me that's really speaking numbers. Basically, since Sandy's taken over, they had a little bit of an adjustment period for a couple of games, but the last week they've played a lot of best of 3s, almost 10 or so, and they've won almost all of them. They only lost that one series against Mana in the last week, so they are in a great place right now. And I think coming into this, my favourites at the very least. Though obviously on the T side of Overpass, it's not always the easiest. I'll have to fight from behind here. I mean, they've got a lot to show us.
Let's see what we've got this evening. You done 2 BO3s already today, Lucy? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
The grind, baby. Let's go. Number 3. Oh, Supra. That's a bit awkward. Looking to try and jump away from Monster as he gets peppered from range by AVN. Brute playing near Divider. He's got 3 players that can be coming his way in a moment. Jake waiting kind of furthest back right now. And now they're going to take short. And if they make sure to go about this one okay and safely and keep an eye on that connector door, they should be okay. But Brilliant seems like he's ready to open it up. He will do exactly that. He needs to be careful because he's got the only 2 pieces of util.
Brute Monsters hanging out around here, overwhelmed. Double swing comes out. Kindo's position is very interesting now because he has managed to skirt through and avoid all of these players. I don't know if he can disrupt the bomb plant. Might come out a little bit too late, but nice clean shot. Looking for a third as well. Kindo even anticipating the flank. Brilliant sequence with the dualies. And now it's on to JKX and Supra out towards long. Kindo's just holding it, ready for the swing. And in fact, he wants a bit of the fight and he'll keep on going. Joffrey says, I want a slice of it. Is that really going to cost them? No. Oh my God. He gets 4 kills. And then Joffrey takes him down execution style. Oh, that's a disaster.
Sleeper agent. There's a sleeper agent in the server. How has that happened? First round of the entire series, and we've seen something that you kind of never see. That is crazy. I'm amazed they weren't able to trade out Jake there in the end. That is a rough one for XZ10. And you just know that if they got off to a good start on CT, they could probably build upon it. Maybe there would be an opportunity to really put a good number of rounds in. But yeah, that is a rough one. Now the T side are going to try and do exactly what I just say. Force by, of course, on XZ10. We're going a bit faster toward Monster, but AVM will hold on this time. The spacing there for Super and Brilliance wasn't too good, and that will mean that they're already down 3v5 despite the buy they had available.
AK's at least still in their hands. Galil's passed on over, but that is a disastrous way, and maybe XZ10 can get some redemption after that disastrous end to the pistol. I'll take these rifles long now. The rotation already comes up. Indo was out here the whole time. The 2 recovered Galils are still on B. But I think Kindo with this FAMAS can be a real threat. He's going to be hearing Jake coming his way. There's going to be a big fight brewing. There's going to be a bait coming in from Map. But swing comes out anyway still. Kindo finds the shot, and that's just going to force these final 2 players into the crossfire here. Emmy tucked in, Brute Monster being the distraction, and maybe even just the final nail as Kindo swings off his death, and the force buy looks good.
Yeah, that's a really important one to bite straight back on, considering what just went down. Those 5-7s always so damn dangerous wherever you put them, it seems. Lucy, have you had a chance to look at and play around with that model update change they did last night?
No, I've seen all the videos and stuff. It looks good. I'll be real with you. I'm liking what I'm seeing. The counter strafing looks really nice. Yeah, I'm excited for it to become real.
Yeah, become real, as in not beta client anymore. Exactly. Yeah, it's we'll have to see how that goes. I really like what the knife pull-out animations look like from the third person. I think that's something which has been. It's a very small quality of life thing, but I think it's something that is cool that the game has kind of missed for a long time. It's always looked like very basic flip for every knife. Now it's looking a bit more proper. And we'll see if this buy here for RUSTEC will be proper. Because obviously on a forced by war to begin the map, lead it down to Deagles and a scout 4v5. Damage done to Avian and Chofo, but it's going to be hard to break in now.
It's not a walk up. Might catch Brute Monster off. He's going to peek out, and well, you get the information now. Not quite caught off. Bit of tag damage, but he has the support. Does he? Oh! Okay, now Super has got a really good position because of this kill from Jakes. Kinto, will he be cleared? He will, and just about holds on. Forcing back the other way, looking good as the Deagles continue to rain out death. But it falls down to Jakes. He needs to come through with the ace. Just the Deagle in hand. He's got it down into the one-on-one. Oh, but he doesn't read Emmy. I thought he knew. But the jump peek, surely he saw him. Is that not commed? I think so. Tap on the bomb, a swing out, and it is the ace. That is phenomenal.
Oh, how has that happened then? What a start to this game. We've seen some crazy moments and we're 3 rounds in. My goodness. That was stunning. The fact that Supra wasn't shooting there, I mean, that's actually one of the main contributors to get Jake his ace in the end. That's brilliant. I mean, the beautiful pre-fire and the headshot angle on the flower bed on the left, and then the final kill on Emmy. Emmy thought he maybe had the jump on him, had the drop, could push up a bit, probably safely, and get that kill. But all 5, goodness gracious me.
That's one of the craziest Deagle aces I've seen in a minute, to be honest. That was
wild.
Yeah,
long time.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, that sits you right back on your butt, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it keeps Forced by War going. I bet we didn't think that would be the case after how RUSTEC, or how XZ10, sorry, were set up. It's woken the game up, for sure. Joffo tries to take a bit more presence on Monster, tries to cross to the left. Put a few bullets through that smoke with the MP9, but takes a bit of damage, so won't play too aggressively there anymore. It's actually kind of a funny situation that even though it is a forced buy war, they have still got 3 M4s. It's really not a bad buy at all. It'll stay pretty similar if it keeps going back and forth like this.
Looks like they want to keep it direct here. There's a boost up, interestingly, in towards CT. Rotation's hard to move over. This is 30 seconds, so it's pretty clear this is the intent. Great counter flash, but Emmy can't quite find the kill off it. They know he's locked in here, and Super just runs at him. Smoke can go down, and there's actually no one in towards water, so there's space here for the T's to scale. The Bruce not really finding anything, but the nade does.
Okay, they're going to go for that CT boost. Again, Brute Monster. Very wall-bangable, that wall, more than you think, into water. But unfortunately, it's the Rifle of AVN that will go looking first, and that will probably call them away. Kindo was waiting in con to maybe assist that retake and help out to come in on a late lurk, maybe could get down in towards short quietly and be a bit of a surprise. But once they lost AVN, there was no hope, and they decided to not lose any of their weapons. So it'll be RUSTEC that'll break the streak. Do XZ10 buy again, though? I mean, it's usually the path you'd want to take here is a full eco and play with what you've got, but you never know after the start of the game.
It feels like it's the right move, especially because you don't have any sort of util. You can't drop anything good over, except maybe like MP9, MP7. So I think given everyone's basically on the exact same money, there should just be these guns. So RUSTEC got a little dicey for them after that second round fight back, but they've managed to get a really good control of the T side. Already looking like they're going to be sitting in a 4-1 position unless these rifles can get something done. And like the boost behind Divider, they bring both M4s to A. This is a pretty crazy angle as you come out party. I don't think you'd be anticipating it.
I don't think I've ever died from that one before. All my maps are Overpass that I've played in my life. Overpass is a map known for countless number of different boosts around all these positions, but yeah, I remember seeing one through with one of the glass windows back in Go. That was used relatively often, but that's a much tighter angle in toward party than you maybe would think. Jeffo needs to be careful. He's about to be rounded on from long, and thankfully he does turn back at the right time and almost gets all three, actually. 2 was always going to be the maximum there, I think, but almost had the lineup to make it another. It does really well with one of the M4s. If you get these M4s boosted up in these different positions like we're seeing, they can do damage, and now they know Yuka's stuck on long. They're going to try and pressure him with that M4 they saw boosted up, but there's a lineup available, and that's big for Yuka to recover the round.
Such a shame. Because it really felt like they made all the right moves to make that happen when Jeffro gets the double. I love that push up, but they just line up, as you say, instead of having the layering. Ramon's just going to see what damage he can do. But, oh, not a lot, Ants. We'll remove him after getting tagged down. That will be fourth found. I don't know if we're going to have the money for an AWP if it wants to either. No, it doesn't look like it. I'll wait a moment anyway for Kindo to reconnect.
Yeah, actually not too long. He's a player that, as you kind of mentioned, right, if you were going to take an option on continuing to play as their core and playing with your, 100-odd VRS ranking, probably the best option you could have gone for. I mean, he's got a very long career. He kind of never played with that Zero Tenacity core at any point, not even as a stand-in, I don't think, but back when they were a team, because obviously that main 4, even main 5, stayed together as a 5 for such a long time on Z10. He was always part of like the iNation side, the 4 Glory side. I would have covered Kindo a lot on 4 Glory when I was starting as a commentator back in 2020, 2021. Then went to Partizan for a couple of seasons, played on various editions of that Partizan roster, a North Macedonian edition, a Serbian edition, like he would have played most of his time on. Played a couple of big tournaments. Didn't ever embarrass himself. He's always a good servant for that team, playing alongside the likes of Dragon and Vladen and Collins. So yeah, it's cool to see him playing with this court.
A logical group up. This isn't the only game we've got going on right now either. There's always a billion Counter-Strike games going on at the moment, it seems. Like, they're just constant.
It's terrifying, Lucy. Like, you open HLTV and one whole scroll, so like sometimes, in other portions of the day, doesn't even get you past the live matches. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 6 games just going on in ECL in this cup right now, right? We've got this game.
Yeah.
We have the 8sins game. They're up 4-0. Siasilik Quasar, that's 3-0 right now. Lavcad G2 Aries, that one's not quite kicked off. Dons2, currently 4 up against the Last Resort. And then Clutch Chain versus Pro Academy. Clutch Chain, that's the Pigeons squad. They got
there you go.
Signed earlier today.
Zaz is back. Didn't expect that one.
Yeah, sort of weird moves. I guess it's probably a vibes-related move with that squad, I imagine. I saw Veen, who was the player that replaced Zaz originally, and who has been, I think, the standout for them, to be honest. She was playing a bigger keeper, but I think that was just a temporary stand-in situation.
Right. Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, when I saw that they, stopped playing with her, I was like, what the hell? I mean, she was fantastic for that team, even in like all the online, tough online games they were playing, CCT and all the qualifiers. So she was fantastic. So yeah, I'm kind of a bit sad that's the case, but there we are. As you say, vibes-based move maybe. Anyway, we've got Kindo back in the server, so we can get back underway here. 4-1 for RUSTEC to begin, and they'll be thanking Mr. Jake. Not sure how to pronounce his full name properly. I'm just going to stick with Jake because, it's easy. But that Deagle ace, I tell you what, like, getting a T-side start on overpass of all maps, that's one way to do it, and they'll be delighted for it because they're now already feels like in a very good position in the map as an overall. We know that XZ10 don't love overpass, so right now they're looking pretty solid.
Not bad, is it? Molly is upsetting. Almost is going to come back, but this time from Supra's lurk is brilliant. Brookmonster missed his chance, but Emmy bails him out. 2 quick kills. Now Brookmonster's focused on Supra out towards long. Oh, he's trying to bait in this flick, isn't he? Supra won't quite win him, and Avin then comes through. So you got left alone. Looks like Emmy is going to be the one that get this second round. Oh, that's a swing. With 20 seconds, he's still locked into heading in towards A. And still 3 people to deal with, so I think he's just going to call it off.
Yeah, nice shots, but there's going to be no way to win the round from here. Emmy does really well there. Emmy's I mentioned it earlier in our pre-game. Emmy's a funny player, just constantly flip-flopping from coaching to playing. Obviously, in this situation, it's playing temporarily for a bit of fun to help out the boys. But yeah, actually, kind of crazy that he's still around and still playing in professional matches on HLTV after such a long career. Dating back 13 years at this point. Pretty incredible. But also many different regions. I remember that's when I was a couple of games that Emmy was involved in, I would do a little bit of extra research on. I would always talk about, nice boost kill there for Brute. I'd always talk about how many regions he's played in, how many teams he's played in. I mean, there was even that stint on Tai Lu back in 2023, which is one I always remember. Crazy period. Yeah, so it's funny that he continues to pop up now and again, whether it's as a player or as a coach. He's not like a massive liability. Sure, he doesn't frag well. We all know that, but he makes the right moves more often than not.
This is looking a lot better for Exterior Tenacity. Oh, Joffo, careful now. There is a little bit too much there. That's the bomb spotted. So I think they don't want to overcommit to this. They know that this info has come through, and a triple swing. Oh, Supra almost caught out, but he lands and removes Joffo. So they end up getting 2 frags there. Sure, the HP is not healthy, but suddenly they have a player advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly healthy, right? But let's see. Brute Monster's put himself in a very interesting position here. Late round with the AWP playing front bathroom. That's a weird one. But he gets cleared. Oh, it's so unfortunate for him. I bet he thought there was no way he'd get cleared in that position, especially when they know that it's unlikely to... When Brute's alive, he's unlikely to be that far pushed up. But he did get checked. Now, Emmy, very difficult clutch. Bomb will be planted in time. And even though they're all low, 19, 19, and 13, they're going to get away with the round.
I think the HP is the biggest one that's really rough there, isn't it? Some crazy kills coming through from Monster. They almost get completely caught out. And yet, managing to bring it on through. That's going to completely reset the CT side.
chance. Gonna hold on here against
Held
the pistol
up.
rush. Yeah, not bad, considering that was a bit of a weird choke point to hold from. I think they don't realise what's going on here, though. The bomb should be taken through Monster safely. This is to make sure it can get past short pipe all well and good, and I think it will be able to. You can now realise what's going on. So, Joffo's going to try and be cheeky, trying to create some chaos with that smoke into the middle of the side. But Jake should have a safe plant, and Nuke will check that smoke with a grenade. Boost on the short is possible, but of course, Supra keeps a very close eye on it. So no risk, should be 6-2.
Hold on to what you've recovered. Bit 6 already, T-side. That's a brilliant pull to bring out. Chance to even pick up a few more here. How things are progressing.
Terrorists win.
We'll at least have that all back out for Monster. It was a fun way to try and catch a few players off guard. There's a very awkward fight with the scaling of players flying over top of you.
Yeah, not easy. Especially when you had the A1S right in that situation, because it's just feels like such a pea shooter in those scenarios. There we are. All's well that ends well. 6-2. Utility to be dropped over the corner of the wall there, back down to B, and they need it. Monster looking for another opening pick in the round. I think they're going to go for that boost around the smoke again after how he caught a player already. So, fall back and play front bathroom like normal. Pretty good setup around.
Oh,
I'm going to say, pretty good setup around bathroom and middle there for XZ10, but Jake has hit another nice headshot. That was his first kill since the Deagle Ace, by the way.
huh. That's kind of crazy to say. That's actually wild. I didn't realize that. Well, they're going to rotate well, aren't the CTs? They've got a player pushing down Con. They've made the perfect read here as the clock ticks on down. Emmy might just catch out this short lurk. He will. That's going to force him straight into Monster, whose AWP strikes true for 2. And you guys, sure, he'll catch out Emmy, but putting the rest of these together feels exceptionally hard. I think at this point he wants to try and hold on to this, but sniper versus sniper duel, and Monster bests him a quad kill from the sniper on the CT side. Keeps these rounds alive.
That's what Monster can do. You know, unfortunately, he's the sort of player which he has these pop-off rounds in, like, okay, he can be one of the best AWPers for a team like this. You could put him on the Bosnia and Herzegovina World Cup team for Counter-Strike, which might come into effect later on in the year, if we're lucky. But, he can be a bit hit and miss sometimes at this level. That was a round where he definitely managed to hit. Nuke will charge through that short molly to try and answer back with his own AWP. It's a very common move on overpass, and they didn't really suspect it at all. Choffo without a clue that Yuka had made his way through. Maybe some comms coming through while that molly was down on short and while that smoke was put onto it.
Alright, well, Super catches out the boost. Back into even settings. I don't know if you want to be giving him the opportunity. Monster had a brilliant round previous. He's going to be tested here. Currently alone, there is a rotation on its way. I thought Super was on the line. Now he does get there. He misses the timing, and Monster jumps up, spots him, goes for the quick shot, doesn't connect it. He's going to fall back to a better line. He can hold for that swing, comes through. Easily dealt with. Super, does he want to really swing this? Monster adopting a passive angle. And for the rifle to get a bit closer, and Monster putting on another brilliant display with the multi-kill. Final player steps out, and it's another huge round for Monster.
Yeah, he's doing great. Great to see him playing this well again. You know, CT Overpass should be his playground, and he's showing that he is enjoying himself at the moment. The thing is that, you know, in these sort of situations, it feels like it's an absolute must, right? Because despite how great those 2 rounds were in a row, they are still down 6-4. RUSTEC have 6 T rounds. That is really, like, you know, more often than not, that is enough. And knowing what XZ10 are like on this map, they're okay on CT, but their T round win percent is 39%. That's very low, even for a very heavy CT map. So we are expecting a RUSTEC victory still. Nice flick there from Kindo on the fullback.
At least the deadliest eagle isn't here this time.
True.
You don't have to deal with that menace.
Yuka's got a fake blaze. He's got like one of those black eagle skins with the fire stickers on the end of it.
It's kind of fun. Okay, we do get one deagle shot, but yeah, just one. No harm, no foul. 6, that'd be a great recovery, all things considered. This was a pretty dire scoreline at one stage.
Final round of the first half. I love the run boosting towards short there to get past the T short control molly. So that relatively often now to try and get that short control, which, as we all know, is so important. Yuka only with the scout on this round. Here's the bomb carrier as well. Brute Monster is again pushed up, but jiggled out this time. Can he fall away in time? He can. He will be allowed to just about. Sees the head. Again, well, a bit of a wiggle to deal with, but he'll miss and fall back.
Monster. He wants more of these fights. Been having such a good time of it. This push up through con. 2 players are in connector right now from the CTs. They have completely evacuated B. This is a fantastic position to be in, and it's made better with Brute Monster getting that kill. They punished the first player, but yeah, never expecting Avin that. He'll get his, fall off. Brute Monster. Ooh, a little bit exposed there. Ants had a chance onto him. Still, this player advantage. And still, they've locked off this rotate to B. They have to go into this A bomb site. Brute Monster still close on the angle. Ants looking for the swing onto it, and it's a leg shot coming through. Still somehow standing are both these players, but Jakes comes in, gets the double. Still, Avin in the back lines. They know he was in connector, planting safely. These smokes are a real nuisance on site. This one breaks right in front of him, and it leaves it to Avin to try and pull this back. With that slow, sure, that's one consideration, but he doesn't have really much to work with. This setup towards truck and long is hard to break through, especially if you don't get that first kill cleanly. Stepping forward, he's got the read, but the nade lands and Yuka swings to close it out with 7 rounds on the T side.
A 7-5 is very welcome for RUSTEC after it looked like it could have been a 6-6 half. They, in general, will be feeling very much in control as it currently stands. I think for ESL Tenacity, they battled well. They did well to actually make a competitive half of that at one point after how many hits they took, especially from that Jake Deagle ace that we saw early on in the half. But they're competing and Brute Monster's looking good. But of course, translating that to T-side, not just for him, but for the entire team, is not easy knowing their win rate on this map. So let's see what they've got.
Nuke's going to have a little look, but this is a very passive setup. They were just sitting back in their little heads. It's going to make the CTs feel like this is going to be B, but Ants pushes at the same time and gets the information. No one's here.
Alright, they're going to be seeing the long presence at some point though, and there we go. Yuka realises what's going on, does figure it out. Jake holds on against Kendo, but now the utility that's going to be coming through is going to be difficult to deal with. What a flick tap that was from Yuka. He was blind pretty much while he was going for that. He saw, I think, 1 pixel of him before that flash completely blinded him up, and in the end, somehow, they survived that with all 5 alive.
Insane shots coming out. Let's watch that back from his POV. Fully blinded, and then he spins through move Joppo as well. And then that wide swing at the end. Just everything about that was gorgeous to watch. Wow. That is a rough way for that one to go.
I should say, I was a little bit of a Yuka enjoyer. Only seen 1 game, but he didn't disappoint me. He played pretty well. Not saying he is the next coming, but yeah, he's not bad from what I've seen. And that was a very, very nice way to start the second half. He wants that AWP as quickly as possible as well. Calmly tapping and bursting with that MP9 to get 2 quick kills against the full eco. XZ10 playing for the AKs in the third. I have not seen a single... I should tell a lie, I have seen a single player. I've only seen 1 player, I think it was during the ROG Journey event, that has been caught out by the magazine change when he used all of his magazines with the MP9. I've not seen any professional player get caught out yet, so I think, as usual, with an update like that, people have reacted immediately.
It's a bit of a strange update, really.
I know.
I think that was the main thing, and it felt like it was out of nowhere. Mostly a bit annoying as an AWP player. I've been caught out with just like not running out of ammo so much, but like doing a reload when I shouldn't with like a deagle or a USP when you've like had a few shots and then you're reloading as you're running back to site to take different fights.
Yeah. As you rightly say, I think I also had the same thought. It's one of those updates where you're like, what on earth possessed them to make that move right here, right now? Who thought that one up out of nowhere? Over at Valve HQ. It's not terrible, but, you know, still a funny one.
Well, you just got the AWP, but they mind to circumnavigate. They're going very quickly towards long, but the flashbang announces this, so you'll be hanging about, anticipating their presence. They're actually not going to scale off this. I really thought they might continue to progress forward, but the flashbang gets the information on whether anyone's close, and off the back of all of that noise, they now move themselves to B. There's no follow-through, and there's going to be a timer here where this extra player just comes back to help out.
Yeah, it's a fake that you see quite often. It's got a few layers to it, and I respect that, but as you say, still 2 players on B. They're going to have help sooner or later. It's a question whether Super gets caught off guard. He kind of does, but in the end, still reacts with, what, 98 damage on Chofo and a kill on AVN. Kindo's going to have to make his move to try and go looking for something, but Ants is waiting in water as well with the MP9. Chofo may jump his way through to get that one, but now Kindo's flank is a little bit too late, I reckon. He will be trying desperately to get kills and or stay alive. He's doing an okay job at it, but Kindo's taking such a long time that Yuka's going to catch him looking for that flank. 10-5, well on track to finding their map.
Yeah, looking very good now. That fake out towards long, a bit too telegraphed. And the counter utility here anyway, that smoke just being held to deploy. Ants does a great job playing close on the ramp to make it hard to spot him out of these players try and overwhelm water. They're really well handled. He's Exterior Tenacity on a pistol buy. Just listening for the sound cues. The usual set comes through, Alvin. You scale behind it. You're not going to get caught off guard. He doesn't want to get up close with the pistols.
Yeah, it'd be incredible win from here for X0 Tenacity, knowing what we all have seen, knowing their percentages on not just this entire map, but also on their T side as a whole. Don't expect the world on T overpass, but you expect something better than 39%. I'm not going to hold it against them too much. Of course, they are still a core playing with 2 stand-ins, technically. So, can't really give them too much criticism in that sense. Duel toward long is won by Jake in the end. Chofo's got a bit of a play. We'll dink one player in the back, but then Supra, again, sitting barrel, didn't clear that or didn't see it. So, he can pop his head up and save his teammate from any more damage. There should be no issue here. AVN Tech9 pushed up close on the headshot angle on the left with Yuka. Still holding these positions and still scouting the bomb site. It'll be down to Emmy to create some sort of havoc. And he's got the bomb, by the way. And he's kind of all alone. So, all over the place in this round. There's not going to be much progress unless they all hit their headshots right here, right now.
Yuka up and over though, finds that one. Shots there, but Supra will catch Emmy, and now Kino just needs to get cleaned up. That's at 11th. Looking all comfortable here on the CT side. I mean, this would be a tough one coming in for the Serious Tenacity squad. Overpass has been a difficult map for them despite the fair few reps they have. Nuke's definitely their best possibility here.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game for XZ10 as soon as we saw that RUSTEC beat Nigel Mirage on this map. Clearly that's a result that we should be holding in great stead.
3 steps good. Oh!
Youch.
It's a crazy spam. What you can really do about that?
Kindo. Yeah, completely unexpected. Through front bathroom. Looking to try and duel Jake as well. You can assume there's another player there, because why would the AWP not be looking at him if there wasn't a teammate holding that angle? So he did go looking for it. Couldn't find him, unfortunately. Brilliance will grab the AWP off of Yuka's body. But Jake is in between them again here. Avian's going to be completely blindsided. You can kind of forgive him for not expecting a player in connector, considering where Brute Monster was. Like, where's he come from all of a sudden? Good trade, but it's a 2v3 to save XZ10 from letting RUSTEC get to 12. Emmy's through long. Brilliance is aware there could be a player, of course, through the bomb site, knowing how the entries kind of panned out on the A side of the map. But even though the plant's down, you do expect RUSTEC to recover this from here.
Maybe. This timing might be good for Supra. Brit Monster, is he ready? Oh, tiny little jiggle. Cheeky. Little nade. Swing comes and missed on the mark as the AWP, but the no-scope. That'll come through. Now the retake. Oh, no smoke, just molly as they throw them down. RUSTEC and Brilliance. Oh, kills exchanged either way. Not quite the coverage that it seemed, and so Brute Monster has done enough.
That's crazy. Where did Brute get that kill through? It wasn't through Brilliance, because he was still 98 HP. I'm not entirely sure how where that headshot came through from, or what it went through. I think it may have gone through a couple of walls. I don't know if we have a replay from his POV. I would love that production if we do, but that's a hard one to grab from that timing. There we go. That moment there. It was like through the corner of the right wall, I suppose. It would be left wall as... no, they would have looked at it. You could have looked at it. But still, crazy shot. Another nice shot from Brute. Up to 19 kills. Unfortunately, if you add Chofo, Emmy, and AVN's kills together, it doesn't even reach 19. So that is kind of the issue that XZ10 have right now. Great round to win. Does keep RUSTEC off of 11. But again, beginning of the next round, they put some pressure on. And Brute is misses opportunity for that trade in short. So early man advantage.
Nice break, and the attempted lurkout is denied. So already, after the first pick comes through, the second sure to follow. This one not looking quite so good. Brute Monster doing everything he can. We'll have to do it again. Oh, nice shot from Emmy. Okay, there we go. That's a bit of what they needed. Nades almost take down Super 2. That's so close. Would have brought it back to the 3-on-3. Now instead, Emmy just going to wait for the smoke fade to try and catch this player. But answers here as well. And they're aware the smoke is doing a lot for them. This rotation, this gamble's crazy.
You know, he's making a bit of noise now. And he will check barrel. Another great headshot. The 32-year-old talent. Looking fantastic right now. He's going to find Supra as well, and Brute Monster will find Nuke. Okay, it's all falling apart, but it might fall apart the other way as well. Oh, almost had a chance to make another big round happen for his team there, Jake, but he can't find Kindo. Quick trade at the end. Now money getting a little bit lower on RUSTEC. 11-7. There's a bit of a glimmer of hope here for X0 Tenacity. They've done very, very well to recover that round. Incredible shots, incredible moments. You could getting exposed there by Brute Monster on the peak. They know that Supra has been camping on Toxic Barrel pretty much the entire half so far. Finally, they find a way to remove him and then remove everyone. So, great recovery. And now, all RUSTEC have in this round is a hero AWP.
Great one to bring back. I mean, you got to give all the praise to Emmy there. That was a huge moment from him. Alright, we have this fight back that we were looking for. And we're wanting to avoid walking into this AWP. At the moment, they might not. And if they want to continue progressing along, Yuka is here. This is getting very dangerous for X0 Tenacity, so they bring more players over to A where this setup is in place.
Yeah, if Yuka's in position, you've got to be careful. You've got to flash your way into these angles, and that's the punishment you'll get. Brute Monster just shifts into it. He only had one flash on AVN, I think. I didn't use it. Now the danger really mounts up. 35 seconds left in the round. AVN's going to move his way forward. Jake's on a very tight line in divider. And Deagle could hit a few body spams. He now sees the shadow. It doesn't even need a body spam. We know what he's like with those Deagle headshots. He's going to hit another one. Now again, a 3v5 to recover. This one is supposedly easier, but there are more players around the bomb site to deal with at once. Very difficult to do that, and Ants will find Emmy. Jake will get one more headshot with the Gadil this time, and Chofo is stuck, and he won't be feeling chuffed about that. 12-7.
That one is a bit of a disaster. Being really well handled here from RUSTEC to get the players in position. It's a very cool setup for the stack. Another big round from Jakes as well. Guess that Deagle kill on the player close to dividing, gets the Galil, and then finds 2 more follow-ups. So that's 12 5 chances now to close it. This one might be the easiest. Monster and Kindo with the big frag heads right now for Exterior Tenacity. What a disparity. 20 on Brute Monster. I think you can barely get close to that between Joffo, Emmy, and Avon combined.
Yeah, it's a rough one. It's a rough one. Not expecting the world from XZ10, considering, of course, the core of the old team. You've lost the heart and soul of it, really, with Nemanja leaving all that time ago to play with Illwill for a while. Then leaving Illwill to go to Wildcard of all places. But yeah, it's... you have got 2 stand-ins who'll do their best for you, unfortunately. If you had an Emmy... Well, Emmy had an incredible round on B earlier. It's always tough for him to find impact. Can't really criticise too heavily. Jake's going to try and push forward on long to look for Brute on this off angle. It's Galil versus Galil, actually. This duel. I have a little bit of a right-eye peek, though, and even though he takes a dink onto 9 HP, we'll still hold on for the frag. Up to 21 now for him as well. And as soon as he got that Deagle Ace earlier, one of the rounds of the tournament probably so far, I'd be happy to say. It's always going to be difficult for XZ10 to build on CT side, I felt like. Ant's playing in water. You can hear the Tech 9s popping off next to him. And this angle from Supra is a very, very good one. Emmy's trying to be boosted up. That is actually the one counter to that position. He's not seen or found him. I know he's loved playing around barrel the entire CT half, which is why they went that way. But Supra's going to hold on. Too many players to find. Emmy stuck on pillar. Not a place you want to be. And Ants will close it. RUSTEC will take their map pick 13-7. As expected, looking confident.
Yeah, looking really good. I'm impressed by the squad so far. Obviously, there is the asterisks around Exterior Tenacity and the stand-in situation, but Kinto was brilliant, to be honest. Emmy had some alright moments, but it did feel for a lot of that it was Brute Monster against the world, whereas RUSTEC, it definitely felt like we had moments from everybody. Takes the biggest impressing mark for me, but I also like that I saw out of Yuka. Supra having some great holds over towards B, and overall did expect Overpass to go this way, but it was a really good showing from them nonetheless. Nuke is where we go to next. Exterior Tenacity's map pick. They need to bounce back or they face elimination. We'll see if they can do it after this. Alright, we're back after Overpass goes the way of RUSTEC. That was their map pick. They got a good run on it. Always a long shot back to Tenacity. Some great fight from Brute which I think is going to be key going into their map pick of Nuke. And for Nuke, I think for RUSTEC, it's also been a bit of a trouble point. They've won their last couple they've played, but they had some really rough losses kind of earlier in the season. So I think it's definitely a good territory for X0 Tenacity to take this.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity at a map 3 here for them. There's no question about that. I think they're going to really fight a lot better as well on this map. I would be surprised if RUSTEC run away with it. Good moments from the RUSTEC players. Obviously, Jake had that Deagle ace. We saw Yuka with some good moves, which I was kind of touching on earlier, that I want to see Yuka play well. Brute Monster did kind of look like the best player on the server at points, but unfortunately, when you're kind of all alone, as you say, doing a bit of a carry job, it's not going to work out for you. And now, yeah, going into Nuke, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play. I think, you know, historically, they've always had an okay Nuke back in when they used to play at Z10 all that time ago. And, of course, they are continuing to play that map quite a lot, even as X0 Tenacity, the 2 months or so that they've been playing as the XZ10 team. Whoever they've been playing with, they've played it a lot, 24 times, winning 13 of them. And if you look at those results and you see how they're doing, at the moment it's a case of win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So, by logic, they should win this game.
You know, I like that thinking. I'm always a fan of that sort of logic. I always enjoy that. Yeah, it's interesting actually looking at it, because some of the wins have been really good, right? Rotwheelers 13-3, Cinco 13-3. But some of the losses also maybe not so great. 4 rounds versus Bebop. That's a pretty surprising one there. Yeah, a fair few losses to have with and playing them a lot, although that's a very good team when it comes to Nuke, as the finish tend to be. Yeah, they've actually had a hell of a few games on it this year, so that's kind of the case across the board. It's interesting they still have that mentality of just at the grindstone constantly, even with the change in lineup and losing their kind of front piece. They've continued to keep up the mantra of playing every game possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but just from my imagination, I'm sure for all the years and all the salary they got and occasional prize money on Zero Tenacity, like, that's built them up a decent bank, for where they're from. And it gives them time and no rush really to still play as a core, still enjoy their Counter-Strike, and still maybe continue looking for a new organisation in the future. Right now, obviously it depends. You might need one of those like small regional organisations to try and pick them up, because anyone that's like at all relevant won't be picking up a team that's 130 in the VRS, right? So as I said earlier, playing for the love of the game in a way. We'll see if they can continue that here. Sure, I think RUSTEC would have maybe done a little bit of research on their opponents and would have seen how much Nuke they play, would have maybe expected it in the veto, and would have seen how to expose them, considering they are kind of 50-50 on the map in the 24 times they've played it, right? So, let's see. We're already going for a fast pistol round outside. The Brute Monster P250 is a very common factor for him on a T pistol round, and they're fighting long range, but unfortunately will get caught from Mini already by Brilliance.
Oh, but there we go. The P250 does find its mark. Don't want to give Brute Monster too many chances. He's the one main threat here that it feels in every one of these rounds. Being very sharp with it. Managed to get ramp control. There's a player in hell and a player down ramp as well. So it's a known threat. Supra, get this information, and Dulbaretta is firing off a Gush, but now Jakes has them locked in. He'll swing around and spot the bomb, so another player got down low, and he'll manage to remove one of them, so they've got the information on both of these Ts. The bomb drops, and with Kinto down on 10 HP, okay, he'll still manage to find Supra, but I think Brilliance has this locked in, and Brute Monster, he's got a difficult clutch with 30-odd seconds.
He's making so much noise. Couldn't be making more noise if he tried. So it's the freest of 3 kills for Brilliance. A triple kill to start the game for him. He started the round, and he ended the round as well. Not a player I've seen much of at all, Brilliance. He's got a bit of history as a player from Belarus, and has played on a couple of organisations that we've seen, historically that I personally have actually never heard of. Probably why I've never seen him play before. Lots of teams in sort of tier 3, tier 4, and actually dating back to 2021, which is a surprise because I haven't seen much of him. Played on teams like Peep, Shipachi, Anime Submarine. I'm sure that's a mixed team, not an org. Prisionet, Shipachi again, Cloud Runners. Had 3 total stints on Shipachi. So yeah, I'm not entirely familiar with him, but playing well so far today. But this round is done, I think, for the RUSTEC already, because a fast A player's come in from X0 Tenacity. They've rushed in with the Tech 9s and the Mac 10, and there's been no way to hold them at bay.
Good stuff. And I'm just going to fight your way in, get the kills, and get it done. You're just going to slide out and see if you can get someone on the exit. You know what? Oh, you'll get 2, even better. I have a chance to find some further frags. They're just going to run at him. He saw the rest. You might get an ace here.
Oh.
Almost. Ah, that would have been cool. That's a huge amount of damage. Look at the money you made.
Insane, right? I mean, you can actually just play with a Hero M4 in this round if he wants to, and still have a perfect buy. But I think they will go for the full purchase as we expect. Well, I'm actually not as we expect, but because of the damage, yeah, they are doing it. So because of that damage, the full buy they have in the Force Buy War is 3 M4s still, and really good utility. So actually pretty imperative. We've seen a couple of things in this game we don't see too often. A Deagle Ace from Jake, and now we're seeing an exit MP9 quad kill. Mag 7 on Ants. Very satisfying to watch to be used in this position on the map, but can be a bit of a cruel mistress at Mag 7. Can either do 19 damage or 90. Evidently shown there.
How about 57? Brilliant to try his hand at it. Yuka's on a little investigation outside. He's seeing nothing. So I think they're just going to come and reinforce this bomb site. It's going to be the right read. Because it does feel like the T side are setting up for this. Managed to get 3 defenders in play. This could still go wrong. Or X0 Tenacity. Molly. It's the second one that's coming out now. And tends to be the deadly one. Brilliance. On fire. Drops down. Quick headshot. Actually, not even. Just the damage done. Yuka steps in by his side. And he just knew exactly what was coming. Yuka's information gathering is perfection. And his kills even better.
That was beautiful. Back and forth punches from RUSTEC, from dropping down from top part, the M4 in play, the kind of double clear of the squeaky door player pushing through. Now, of course, that will probably leave X0 Tenacity on a full eco. They can afford a couple of pistols if they want to, or a full force. It's up to them. And I'll be surprised if they commit to it, considering they could eco one and get everything they want, but they are going to stick with the plan. They've won around with this sort of weaponry before, so they're giving it another go. I reckon they're going to play a slightly longer round as well, because if they're going to go for something fast, then Brute probably wouldn't have bought a Scout. So, let's see.
Alright, Smokescope, is close towards main. Needs to make the play off this. He's get close to it. Ace has picked up a HE, but he's holding for this push. Oh no. That information went both ways. That's so unlucky. Oh no.
Wow.
Oof. And now Joffrey's down here.
Oh.
Brilliance. You got no clue. Unlucky.
Yeah, back and forth, isn't it? It's going to stay that way, I think, on Nuke by the looks of it. M4, oh sorry, AK recovered now on Choffo. Maybe we'll creep down the ladder and toward lobby, and actually is flanking Ants. He's making noise now too, so he knows that he's in that position and dropping down. They might even be able to call it back, and they already are. That information that Emmy's got, they can just make sure they completely avoid the B bomb site players. I mean, they're still looking to try and take fights against them, but as you can see, AVN is on the A bomb site and planting the bomb all safe and good, so no issue here at all fine and dandy. What is Supra doing? Trying to open one door. Okay. Fair enough. Maybe it's his turn for the exit kills.
You got to find these because you're going to be investing back into this next round.
Terrorists win.
A lovely one to pick back up, and yeah, we do get this continuous back and forth coming in. Actually, the AWP is available here, so it's not as bad as it could have been for the RUSTEC side. Impressive, they managed it, really. And I don't know if Surge has to be ready. Crunch comes in, but Joffo, oh, the headshot. Now the AWP can't get involved. He has to step back. So brilliant with the Mach 10 to find that. Ants will step through and at least get the kill back the other way, pick up the M4 and scoot out of there.
Yeah, I appreciate what Yuka did there. Like many other players, I feel like we're just maybe going for the trade with the pistol, knowing that damage was done. But of course, if he did, could expose himself to lobby. And secondly, he didn't need to, because Ants had communicated that he was on the track, on the trail. So, yeah, right way of going about things there. Okay, what can Ants do on the B bomb site defense here? AVN's creeping up on his position, and a good check. Stopping from really closing that distance. MP9 a bit whiffy on Brute Monster, but he gets away with it. Eventually will go down to Emmy, but Ants will be positioned. Great headshot from Kindo, and Jake will go down on Heaven. It's down to Yuko, who flies up the vent, I believe, there with the no-scope. He'll find Kindo, but Emmy will hold on and save the AWP too. Maybe, finally, it's XZ10 who'll break this back and forth.
Can't believe they managed to win that one in the end. It really felt like everything was in position. We start here, looked alright, but yeah, Ants gets this kill, Brilliance gets this, you think it's all done, but then Emmy comes through and him and Kindo combining for a lovely sequence. One comes out of nowhere for exterior Tenacity. They finally break one of these teams, 5-7s. The P250s. A push through, but held this time, at least for the moment, but looks like it should be all good. Oh, what a shot. And low HP, Supra, hitting the headshots. Monster needed that trade, Brilliance. Oh my god, he's managed to put this into a one-on-one. Up against Brute Monster. That's a gun now recovered. Need to be scoped up, he can't be that close. He's worried about this push in from main, and Brilliance can really make a decision as to going anywhere. And if he goes down towards B, it's the perfect read. It looks like he might be off the money. Wants to flank back in towards lobby, and Brute Monster about to plant down on B.
A little bit of a gamble there from Brute to be totally willing to plant in the open. Brilliance could have definitely gambled in that position, knowing where he got that kill. And of course, it is awkward for Brute because he's made noise jumping into the vent as well. Brilliance might know he's there now. Yeah, I expected him to switch to the rifle. No way. No way. I expected Brute to pick up a rifle there, but whatever happens, that doesn't account for moments like that. I can't believe he's looked away from the vents right then and there. Crazy.
That is classic Counter-Strike timing, isn't it?
And props to Supra, by the way. This round was not possible without Supra. What an incredible double 5-7 headshot there. That was... Look, I like myself a good lobby crunch. I'm a big enjoyer of that, but they don't usually work out like that.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Great shots with the pistol there, and when you think that was meant to be the freebie back the other way, suddenly it's a whole different scenario. Now we continue, in fact, the back and forth.
Incredible.
Thought it was all done and dusted? No. Fun has barely begun. AK and Galil gonna be the bulk of the weaponry here. Already seeing what pistols can do though, so I don't want to count out the Tech 9s. They're really gonna have another shot at this A bomb site. Feels like they're setting up for it. Brilliance. Close by. Even the AWP is here, so 3 defenders are relatively ready for this. Jake's outside is also pretty close in main. And just about spotting Joffo 1Gs. The bomb gets stuck in the smoke, and I thought he was going down the vent. Not sure what went wrong there. But he gets removed. Supra now begins to push. You know where Brute Monster is. He's hounded from every direction. There is not a kill found for the T's except for on themselves.
Oh dear. Yeah, exactly. That is a painful end to the Forced by War, I think. Took a while to close it out, but the CT sides... Well, CT side will win. And winning that round with all 5 alive as well just changes everything. They're now going to be in full control. 5-3s, but a minute or so away, you would think. And they can now work in toward a bit more of a dominant half. Good work to hold on as cleanly as they did in what was a bit of a manic round as well with that push through. Joffo 1G won't want to watch that one back. Yuka and Jake will hold on outside against the Glocks. Fremonster going for a knife, because why not? I mean, he's got nothing to lose there whatsoever. As well try and Goomba stomp someone, but not possible.
All right. So a slight lead here for RUSTEC. After that back and forth. Monster's going to go for the AWP. No armor on the T side. So maybe just feeling like he wants to have some of the impact he was finding on Overpass. Hasn't been quite able to get it thus far on this T side. Had that opportunity at the clutch that didn't work out.
We'll hear that on Brilliance, moving in front of that molly, taking one tick to it. They clear the close left as they would look in secret, though. Could be a big lineup. Thankfully, Emmy is sharp. Nade will come through to break that smoke, however. Thankfully for Ants, he's able to get 2 and make it 3 and get away. Oh, incredible work. Joffo now knows he can take space on ramp, sure, but 2v3 still.
Yeah, what can Joffrey get done here? It looks like they're holding Heaven. Yeah, you just got the read on it. Joffrey is actually going to have a look outside. Brute Monster, he's slowly getting pushed secret. He's aware of it. Oh, this timing looks terrible for him, though. Unlucky. Ants comes on up. Completes his pod kill, and that's a chance that the ace won't quite connect it. And now he gets the confirmation on the final player. Yuka can just step over and hold the cross with the AWP. In 20 seconds, even if you get across here and pick up the bomb, what do? You gotta run down towards B, knife out. Supra's here, and should just step out and remove you. Simple enough.
Yeah, not much progress for XZ10 in that one. Supra always had endo to rights there. Usually a situation of making sure you peek your opponent when you hear them running like that. You'll always have the drop on them. If you sit back, he could swing you and just get a headshot from nowhere, but knife was drawn as well. I think he could even hear that because he was running faster, right? Probably tell. Anyway, now down to the Tech 9 buy again here for XZ10. Looking to see if they can just get more than the 3 on the half. That's when they lost that 4 supply war. They get 4 or 5. I think they'll feel like they're in with a chance of still clawing this game back, but it does turn out to be a RUSTEC 9-3, then it's a long way back.
This ramp pop, it looks like. AWP will be here to greet them. There's a player already down lower as well, so even if they do manage to get past him, unless Emmy can, come through and catch them off guard, feels like this play... In fact, Emmy's going to go back up. They actually don't want to commit lower? This is curious. He wants to help Kindo get across. Doesn't mean they lose control of Vent for the moment. All silent across the map, and the CTs, I think they've got an okay setup. They probably don't need to budge too much just yet.
Yeah, Yuka has got space to take his one shot and fall back if he wants to. He's going to move forward a little bit though. A little bit dangerous on that one, but he's done well. Obviously a bit wary of outside too, so he decides to play shotgun AWP on ramp. As you can see, he was looking toward hell. Definitely an awkward one for Yuka, but he's able to get away with 2, and he'll be very happy about that. Choffo has killed Kindo, but killed Supra through Kindo. That's a 1G and a team kill for Choffo in this map so far. Unfortunately, no advantage for XZ10 to work with, though, in this afterplant. Choffo will get a tag, maybe aiming to do the damage, though. And there we go, a running body shot on Jake to finish off the kill. The dink came through. The big damage, but now Brilliance could just hold this bomb in that smoke. The Tech 9 of Emmy against him, and that's not going to be able to do anything. That's the issue in the end. Just not a fully automatic weapon to spray that smoke. Emmy will get the kill and do a very good job, but I'm afraid it's still 7-3.
Perfect play for that moment. Really enjoyed that decision. Just to stick it. Nice try. I like the way they tried to bring that one back. I mean, having some good moments at times. But now the rounds are getting away from them. That's maybe a slightly bigger concern right now. So we'll get that buy back out again. Brett wants his AWP into the fray.
Checking outside. Know how good he was on map 1, but there's a big difference between CT overpass and T-side nuke. And we're seeing that here. Going 2 and 9, unfortunately, like we've said.
Blocked off. Player already there, so they don't need to stress too much about this cross. Jake's gonna spam up, but third smoke does cause some concern. Oh, he's perfectly read this. Flashbang. Won't matter. Swaps to the picked up rifle from the ground, and this counter smoke in front of Hut means that it looks like Ants has got the read. Ooh, that could have got a bit scary. But they end up keeping it calm and collected. And Brute well, he's locked in. And just left in these really untenable positions. Feels really rough for him. After such a good overpass too. But it's not really his fault in a lot of these rounds. He's just left as the final player in really, really unwinnable positions. Spotted 2 and then just spammed out. Brilliant from Supra.
As I said, if it's a 9-3, I don't really see any way back. Things can change, that's for sure. Poor Jake going aggressive outside, seeing the smoke land in front of him, wanting to try and peek ahead of them. Emmy will find the kill on Jake, though. Actually been doing a pretty good job in this entire series as Emmy, especially as a long-term player and a kind of a coach stand-in a way. Not really a guy that would be pracking hard in the modern day, I feel like. He's doing well individually, considering all those factors. 4v4, good response kill from Supra. Once again, been very reliable as Supra in all these different roles he's been playing. On B overpass, he was always getting himself 1 or 2. Here he's up to 12 and 4, always at sort of mid-round pusher. Emmy and Brute Monster will find a couple of kills back here, so maybe 4 is possible. Brute Monster will pick up that AWP. Supra again does respond, takes half damage, getting that kill. The thing is for XZ10 is they do have Emmy on low HP, so it makes it kind of a 2v2.5. Brilliance is now going to go looking for information in toward Hutch. Maybe play a little bit with Supra. It's a good time to do that because Kindo is watching from heaven. And in the end, Brilliance does look back, but doesn't look back in time for a comfortable duel. So it's all down to Supra, and if he makes his way through the smoke, Emmy should kill him. Unless they start making out in the smoke, which they are doing. Kiss of death? Not yet. Supra will fall all the way through it. They've kind of lost him somewhat. It's actually a little bit awkward because of that, but Brute Monster will eventually hit the headshot. So a funny end to the half, but at least they get 4. I doubt it'll be enough, but it's something. See you in a minute.
Another great half coming out from RUSTEC. Really brilliant stuff coming in from Supra. Yuka, again, continuing to deliver. 8 on the CD side feels good. And I feel like when Exterior Tenacity, when you're looking at Emmy at the top of the scoreboard, it's not to say that it shouldn't be the case, but it does have some concerns because you look at a few of the names here and you think, maybe we need a little bit more out of you.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And if you just, look, as you say, look at the kills across the board on RUSTEC as well, like everyone's putting in a bit of a shift, right? Everyone's delivering when they need to in certain moments. And when you have, 3 players as a core with, in the double digits between them, it's very nice to have. Yuka will get deleted by Brute, though. They try and launch their way into the front of Mini. A crazy jiggle and swing from Ants. Really trying to put Brute down. But Emmy's retaking that position. They might not be expecting that. Free headshot with the dualies. Bomb dropped front Mini. How do they recover it now?
Maybe just fight your way into it. That's why you're doing it. Supra definitely thinks that's the way to go about it. But Kindo catches him off after the double. And Joffo, oh no, just needed the one shot onto Ants. He chickens out, falls down. And the bomb is just running B. They're so focused on Ants right now. And he might just park up here. Just hold this position. Oh, yeah, he's just holding so much attention. That bomb's going to get planted. And Ants just doesn't need to peek. He can just stay here forever.
Yeah, look where Jake's gone off to. They realise it finally. And now Ants realises, okay, I've been left alone. I'm going to need to go and help my teammate ASAP. He'll be screaming at Jake. Well, they'll be communicating calmly at Jake to stay alive for as long as possible. Already Agush has come through on Choffo. Will hit the headshot though, and now Ants is going to have to push his way forward. Low HP on both players. A 10-second defuse being committed to. There is 1 kill, needs to be a second. Only a few Glock bullets left, and he makes sure to find it. In the end, that was so difficult for XZ10 to hold on. When both of your players are basically 1 bullet from death, I mean, it looks silly, but there's nothing they could have done.
I love that so much from Ants. That was so fun to watch. Supra, big impact here with this double kill. But Ants is such a hero. Maybe all that time and then coming through with the 1v2 after all of that, like, it just did not feel likely at all. He manages to get it done. And it's going to be the force buy back from X0 Tenacity. They lose their Ascend. Suddenly starts to look a whole lot more scary for them.
Yeah, I've been liking what I've been seeing from RUSTEC lately. If you add, of course, the factor of now Sanji coming in to coach them. It's a cool name to have behind the scenes. Kind of one of those cult heroes of CS in years gone by. There's a few of those who maybe in history weren't the best player in the world, but were kind of loved for playing a certain style or doing a certain role on the team. Now he's in the coach role. They get past Chopper on ramp. If they can, should be able to make their way up to a 10-4 scoreline. Good trade from Brilliance. Let's take a bit of damage getting it though. We did send the first player out pretty alone. And that scout wallbang can do damage. Kindo's also pushed all the way through outside in toward lobby. So question is whether Supra is going to get caught off by that. Oh, arm scene. It's an ankle scene. And Emmy is still hiding on back of the site. It's an awkward one for Yuka. He was trying to plant the bomb but wasn't allowed to. And Brilliance will finally get the kill, but now they should just surely be pincered. There's not enough players to watch every single angle on this B bomb site. They won't be spooked off the bomb plant though. Avian's not going to commit at that long range. They're waiting for Kindo, and there we go. Brilliance will go down. Brute will get the kill in the end. Now Supra is in the middle of nowhere, trying to transfer, can't transfer. A lifeline.
We could have the same situation we had in the first half with this crazy back and forth that just never ends. It certainly feels like it's setting up for that. Another big impact round from Emmy. We're fighting for his life out here. Does a fair bit of work, but it's Emmy backside here getting this double that just throws the whole round into disarray. Supra gives it a good shot, but in such an exposed position, it was always going to be very, very tricky for him. Actually, T-Side might just eco this, to be honest. Yeah, no reason not to. Got a big round lead. They actually have a fair bit of money off that plant. So yeah, they won't throw it all away just yet.
This is one of those situations where we saw it, I think, in the first half, where they could have saved one. I think it was XZ10 in that instance, where they could have saved one on T side and maybe had a proper, Galil AK buy with good utility, but decided not to. Yeah, RUSTEC will go for the patient game. They could have some farming to do here. Gets dinked though, so decides, look, I'm 13 HP, there's no point throwing my life away to an eco.
There you go, Brute Monster. He's starting to come online. He, what, 2-3 kills coming into the second half? Good to see him back after that brilliant overpass. Won't have the AWP just yet. But plenty of money for the CTs. Imagine if they lose this next round, that will come out. We come within 3. Next to Tenacity win this gun round, and we're right back into things.
So they are going to be down to a couple of Galils here, make that 3 actually in total to make sure they get full utility. That's fine though. Super will find Emmy early. Very important frag to grab. He does hear the top mini player in Brilliance dropping from Silo. He looked at it immediately, but didn't work out for the kill, I'm afraid, and then Brute is caught in the open by Jake. His first gun round is going very comfortably in the way of RUSTEC at the moment. Evian's going to try and recover, but they've already heard him. He'll look away from Garage as Jake swings him. Couldn't be simpler for the outside taker RUSTEC to win this round.
And the fact that it's so emphatic is a little bit sad. Wow, great shot. Jake has had a bit of a slower map here after being so explosive on overpass. He has a big round in this one. Finding all of these kills in quick sequence outside. There we go then, the AWP for Brute Monster. And look outside for this fight. Won't quite find it. Emmy eats a HE elsewhere. That was just over on A. And it's into the vent.
Evian's playing the little gap angle from top site silo into hut to see Ants's leg. He does move forward. If he does creep his way into a possible push, and in comes all the flashes. Maybe that's going to be the cue to go, but there is some decent counter util. Thing is, they're not wary of Mini at all. It's a really important catch from Brilliant, so Emmy might have to activate. Oh, it's awkward. I think he's been seen. Oh no, he had been seen. Emmy was trying so careful there not to get spotted, but he couldn't commit to 2. He should have committed to 1. May give them a chance in the round, and Chofo tries to do the same, can't do it, and Kindo and Brute Monster are left without any say in the recovery. So as always, when they weren't looking at Mini, when they had that option with Brilliance to come through on that timing, always when you break open the A-bomb site with 1 opening kill, it can send the defense into disarray.
Yorp and AK is something at least, but you can see 2k across the board. You kind of feel like you have to force into this next one though, because you don't want to give up series point. Not when you have to get 6 in a row, but this is such a tough decision to make for the CTs. Not even sure what they want to do. They are going to make that call. Yeah, I mean, it feels like you sort of have to make that sort of decision as much as it hurts.
Yeah, it's painful. It really is, but just too far behind to really give up anything here. Got to try and push for something. Brute already tagged down to 57. Smoke for front mini for Brilliance. Kindo's in that corner. That's very possible to see that if he drops down and gives it a look. He'll see an arm sticking out. It's going to be cleared properly by Jake, though. An immediate double kill. Thankfully for Kindo, he follows up really nicely. A must take second frag. 4v3.
Yuka walking forward. He has a great timing here. He might just catch out Avin. Oh, he's looking the wrong way. Let's play right in hell. Towards lockers. There we go. Yuka will look around and find him. Emmy needs this fight. Wins it out. Supra almost brings it back. And Brilliance just barrels around the corner. I had no idea Joffo was there. And yet somehow wins that fight. And now you know Emmy has moved in towards lobby. There's this concern about the potential player down below. So Brilliance, as he gets his bomb down, you have a player in heaven. The retake's almost impossible. You've got maybe a chance with the kit, the smoke. How do you disrupt the fact that Yuka is up in heaven? They're definitely considering it because they know that he was in hell. This flashbang could be everything. Perfect swing, but dodged. And Abrupt Monster left in the 1-on-2. He's so focused on heaven. Molly comes out, the swing, the drop, as the shots come through, and somehow Brilliance helps him get it done. 19 kills for him off the back of that, and series point.
It's one of those rounds for XZ10 where you'll look back on it later and say, okay, we've just kind of been owned by things out of our control. We've done literally everything right. There's the kill from Brilliance I wanted to touch on. Chopo must be pissed off at that one. It's like, he's sitting in the right corner. Your opponent has jumped at you. He should have some inaccuracy, some mid-air inaccuracy and landing inaccuracy, but he's so close to you that it doesn't really make much difference. Gets the kill, and then even in that 2v2 they play it right to XZ10. They make sure to try and flash Emmy forward. Brute Monster had full utility to use, tried to make the best of it, but couldn't. And now we're at a state where it's 12-6, and again they're on one of these really difficult purchases to try and keep the game alive. RUSTEC are looking really good as a whole, individually in particular.
Alright, Joffo's got the pick at least, but Super immediately answers back. We've gone on to Avin, and he's putting more pressure on. Oh, he's molly out Emmy too, Supra. And it's superb. And Kinto left in the 1-on-4, and Toes found. And then Head removed. 13-6, a brilliant display from RUSTEC. They take it in 2.
And thoroughly deserved, I think, as well. I mean, we mentioned before the game, their record recently, they are starting to grow as a team in Tier 3. They are starting to get these wins more often than not. I had a chance to see them play Metasport the other day. They had a really good battling win there with some, again, their individuals looking pretty decent. Yuka in particular. Today, it was, I think, a lot more of a group effort overall. They all fragged well. And like XZ0 Tenacity, where it was a little bit more up and down across the board, right? Brute Monster had a brilliant map 1. Came alive a little bit on CT Nuke here on map 2, but at the end of the day, even though none of their players embarrassed themselves anyway, there was no one dropping 1 kill in an entire game. They were very much out firepowered. And I asked that question at the beginning of the series. What's it going to be? Is it going to be the old synergy and players who've known each other for a long time getting the win here, and old teamwork, or will it be the firepower? And for RUSTEC, I think they've got enough of a good level of teamwork to make their firepower really accurate too.
Yeah, there feels like they're really starting to build up here, and this World Bracket run would mean a lot. We can take a look at where it's at the moment after these games have played out. I think we've had some updates across the board. We can see RUSTEC moves through. Looks like 8sins might be battling back to force that game to a third. Tradies got a default win, so good for them. CS Dillit, they're about to get a map of their own, so that's also going to 3. In fact, I think the G2 Aries one in the same situation. So it's only really this one and Heroic Academy winning out over Pigeons that have already transpired. So the rest still to come, and you've got to keep an eye on that bracket as those games conclude.
Indeed, of course, lots of action to come over the course of all these cups in EU ECL, with that regional final on the line and a chance to play for ESL Pro League. Of course, this is where we're at the very beginning of it, from the very bottom of the very grassroots of Counter-Strike. When you get through the ESEA leagues to get a chance to play in ECL, maybe a chance for even more than that, and we'll see how that pans out, of course, over the course of Cup 3 and Cup 4 when that regional final comes through. Pretty much all we've got time for today, though. We've got a little bit of a recap, obviously, but for us, really, there's not really much more to say about that series. I think it was just a very solid performance from RUSTEC, and I'm looking forward to seeing them keep it up. So we'll see how they continue to do over the course of Cup 3, but for now, for us two, it's time for some dinner, and we'll say goodnight.
Damage, but he has the support. Forcing back the other way, looking good as the Deagles continue to rain out death. But it falls now to Jakes. He needs to come through with the ace. Is that not commed? I think so. Tap on the bomb, the swing out, and it is the ace. That is phenomenal.
Looking fantastic right now. He's going to find Super as well, and Brute Monster will find Nuke. Okay, it's all falling apart, and it might fall apart the other way as well. Oh, this one is supposedly easier, but there are more players around the bomb site to deal with at once. Very difficult to do that, and Ants will find Emmy. Jake will get one more headshot with the Gabil this time, and Chopo is stuck.
Movement, but looks like it should be all good. Oh, what a shot. And low HP, Supra, getting the headshots. Once they needed that trade brilliance. Oh my god, he's managed to put this into a one-on-one.
Yeah, I expected him to switch to the rifle. No way. No way. That if he drops down and gives it a look, he'll see an arm sticking out. It's going to be cleared properly by Jake, though. An immediate double kill. Thankfully for Kindo, he follows up really nicely.
He answers back. We've gone on to Avin. And he's putting more pressure on. Oh, he's molly out Emmy too. Supra. And it's superb.